How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's get right into this review and see what I saw. So this past weekend, I ended up getting to see twice now an awesome new, amazing superhero film. Now, of course, that superhero film, you're probably going to guess it. That's right. Avengers Infinity War. Oh yeah. So I got to see this awesome film twice now already. Can't wait to see it again. And this is just a really fantastic and great new addition to the awesome Marvel Universe. Now, this awesome Marvel film, of course, is once again directed none other by the awesome Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo. Now, Anthony and Joe, I think, are some of the best and creative directors that the Marvel Universe has had over the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years now, since they first introduced, the Winter Soldier film. And they're just really awesome and amazing, directors, and they've just made some great films for Marvel. Now, they really haven't really directed many other films except for the few Marvel films they've directed. And of course, the first one I mentioned already, and that is, of course, the 2014 Chris Evans-led film, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Now, with this film, they really showed that they have a great eye for action superhero films. And I feel that this is probably the best that they've put out there besides Infinity War. And Winter Soldier was just such an amazing storyline, such an amazing action sequence film, and just they did a really amazing job and really brought to life. And unfortunately, they brought what the first Captain America really didn't bring out for us, and it gave us more of an action star in Chris Evans, I feel. And I just think that The Winter Soldier was just one of the best Marvel films all around, and I thought the Russos did an amazing job with it. Now, the other Marvel film that the Russos have directed, besides Infinity War, is none other than the next sequel in the Captain America series, and that is, of course, Captain America Civil War, which is loosely based off of the Civil War comic book. Now, once again, the Russos brought in and made a great film again. And basically, even though that Civil War felt almost like an extension of Age of Ultron, it still was a fantastic and really well directed by the Russos. Once again, they brought together all these awesome characters, gave us some really awesome action sequences, really amazing sequences, and just really great, storyline, basically. And it gave us a whole new idea of what direction Marvel wanted to take the Avengers into and all these characters. And I thought the Russos did a really good job of portraying what Marvel wanted to do and really send these awesome characters going their ways, basically. And I thought that was really well done by the Russos. But with Infinity War, they gave us a whole new idea of what a superhero film could be. This movie is more of an action-packed, drama almost film. I mean, there were so many, really bad moments throughout the film. This just shows you what superheroes really can be like if they weren't to win and stuff like that, basically. And that's what, the Russos did with this film. They gave us a whole different type of, we're so used to, at the end of the film, the characters winning, versus, them not winning, and that's really what the Russos brought for us in Infinity Wars. They gave us a whole different type of view to see these heroes in, to show what it would be like if they didn't win, and so forth. And I thought they did a fantastic job with that. They just did a really amazing, collaboration with Marvel and seeking and pushing, Marvel's whole mindset for the last 10 years in a certain direction, and I thought they did a really fantastic job. So Avengers Infinity Wars once again brings together all the awesome superheroes that we have seen over the last 10 years. Now, also, this is literally every single, superhero from the last 10 years that they're bringing to us. So we have 20 plus superheroes in this film. And so we have so many actors coming back to reprise their roles, and you can't keep track of them all, kind of, unfortunately, in this kind of scenario. So you gotta kind of, lean it down to the few masses that are kind of the mainstream of the characters in the film. So the ensemble cast I'll be going over is basically the ones I felt were the majority or the main characters that we really focused on in Infinity Wars. So, this movie has a great, once again, ensemble cast. Just a really amazing film. And this cast, once again, proves that they are deserving of being these characters, and they really have brought to life on the big screen for us over the last 10 years. So to start off this awesome cast, we have none other than Mr. Tony Stark himself, Mr. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Now, Robert Downey Jr., you've seen since 2008, 10 years ago now, being Mr. Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. And he really started off the MCU and brought it to life, really. This is when Marvel got its big push, and it really, Robert Downey Jr. was one of the main reasons I feel that, Marvel really got its push and made its way, because Robert Downey Jr., I don't picture anybody else playing Tony Stark except for Robert Downey Jr. He just is amazing as Tony. He's just so amazing in general as an actor, and he just really brought to life Tony Stark. Now, when it comes to a couple great movies that I enjoyed Robert Downey Jr. in besides the Marvel Universe, there's a couple films I really enjoyed him and thought that he was fantastic with, and thought that were just super funny films, but at the same time I thought it showed his, comedic, response, but also a little bit of dramatic element too. Now, one of these movies happens to be a 1980s film with Rodney Dangerfield called Back to School. Now, Back to School is just a really awesome comedy film where Rodney Dangerfield basically goes back to school along with his son and tries to get re-educated into the time frame that this is supposed to be taking place, and basically kind of refresh it. Even though he's this rich successful guy, he wants to experience everything that he can, and he kind of decides that he wants to experience college. And Robert Downey Jr. ends up being his son's roommate that he is friends with throughout the movie, and Robert Downey Jr. is absolutely hilarious as a character. All the 80s hairdos he has in the film, the dress look he wears, absolutely hilarious, and he was just so priceless in this film and so stinking funny. Absolutely loved him and thought he was so good. Thought he was hilarious and just really fun. Another great film that Robert Downey Jr. was in, I think it didn't get enough, support and enough, critics to enjoy it, and I thought that it kind of, it was okay, saying in the theaters. It kind of made its money back, but I think it was considered kind of a flop. But I think this movie is fantastic, funny, and I think Zach Galifianakis was perfect in it too as well. And that is the film Due Date. Now, Due Date, of course, if you're not familiar with the film, is basically what ends up happening is Robert Downey Jr. gets in a whole bunch of mess up because of Zach Galifianakis' character in the film, and he kind of goes on this road trip with Zach to get back to his wife who is about to give birth to their child. And basically it's all the crazy antics they have to go through to get back to LA for that. This is just an absolutely great role by Robert Downey Jr. He's absolutely hilarious in the film. I love how crazy and psycho he kind of is in the film, and at the same time he's in the right because Zach Galifianakis is really crazy in this too. And I thought Robert was so freaking hilarious and just so perfect in this film. Kind of similar to a little bit of Tony Stark a little bit. At the same time, he was so hilarious and kind of at certain points very dramatic and stern, and he just was super funny. I really enjoyed him in this movie. I thought it was just a fantastic other film that he's done, and I really thought it was just a really funny film. And I thought Todd Phillips did a great job of directing it and just bringing us a whole great new type of comedy that we really hadn't seen before. I mean, we kind of seen traveling movies, but this one was just so bizarre and funny, and just they did a really good job with it. Robert was great in it and just excellent. So, when it comes to Infinity Wars, Robert Downey Jr. once again brings Tony Stark to life, humanizes him even more, and gives a whole new aspect on, where he is at, since the last 10 years that he's been Iron Man. And, you get the feeling of what he wants to do with his life. He's trying to mature, he's trying to be, more responsible versus, how he has been previously. And you can see that in him. You can see him, he's become kind of the father of all the Avengers or all the superheroes, and he's trying to help guide them. And that really, Robert does a really good job of, playing that out in the film and giving us an awesome, another great role of Tony Stark and Iron Man, and just giving us a great performance again. Really awesome, well done job again by Robert, and just a really great pleasure to see in this movie. Another great actor that is now in the Avengers series, and who was previously in just one other Marvel film, or two actually, and that is none other than the awesome Doctor Strange himself, Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch, like I said, is Doctor Strange, and he made his debut in Doctor Strange, and he had a brief cameo in Thor Ragnarok. Other than that, this is his actual first time having to deal with the actual Avengers and being a part of the Avengers. And I thought it was great to finally see him involved with the Avengers because he's such an integral and awesome, uh, you know, portrayal of Avenger for in the original comic book series because he's been a part of the Avengers before in the comic book series, and it's finally awesome to see him in an actual Avengers film. Now, Benedict I thought was just fantastic in this role. And a couple other films I thought that were okay films that he was in, that he did decent, and I thought he did a good portrayal of his characters. And none other than an awesome film that came out in 2014 based on a true life story. And that is the film The Imitation Game. Now, The Imitation Game, is, like I said, is based on a true life story about this gentleman that was one of the Enigma breakers back during World War II. And unfortunately, at the same time, he was a gay man, and he was trying to deal with, being this gay man during that time frame when, gay people, basically anybody that was gay, they were sent to like psych wards and stuff like that, and had to deal with these crazy experiments and stuff like that. And basically he was dealing with trying to pretend to be straight while doing all this important stuff to help basically England do the code breaking for the Enigma machines. And he was like this brilliant mathematician type of guy, and just dealing with all of that. It was a really interesting and very sad story, but I thought Benedict did an amazing job portraying that character. I thought he was really good at like portraying what he had to deal with, just how smart the person was, and just, give us an idea of what this person was like, even though he's been dead, so many years. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see him in his lifetime. But at the same time, I thought Benedict really portrayed that so perfectly and made a great film and just a really great portrayal. And once again showed how good of acting chops he has and just how good he is at drama as well as action and comedy and other things. Another film that he is in that I didn't think was that great of a film, but I thought his performance was really fantastic in it and I enjoyed his character. And that is the film August Osage Country. Now, August Osage Country is this kind of drama film along with a little bit of comedy element, but mostly drama. And it's about basically this family that is getting back together because the mother wants them to get back together, and she's like basically like dying basically. And the film is led by Meryl Streep, of course, but Benedict Cumberbatch's character plays one of her sons, and I thought he did a really awesome job of portraying that character, and he actually made the film enjoyable enough to finish and watch. And I really enjoyed where his character was taking, like, compared to the other characters in the film. And I just thought Benedict did a good job of portraying that character so well. And once again, showing that he has really, awesome dramatic chops, but also with a little bit of flair of comedy as well. And it was definitely an interesting role for him. It was very different than his role in Imitation Game, but at the same time, I thought you could tell the difference between the two characters, and it wasn't like he was just playing another role. And I thought he did a good job with that. When it comes to the awesome Infinity Wars, though, he was so amazing as Doctor Strange in this. I love his attitude. I loved his way and portrayal of what he wanted to do with Doctor Strange in this one, where he wanted to guide him and force him and, really take him on his journey. And I thought he did a great job in his action sequences, and he just was a great pleasure to finally see in an Avengers film and be a part of that giant ensemble cast, too, as well. He was a great addition, and I thought, at first I wasn't too sure about him playing Doctor Strange, but after seeing him, I was like, wow, he is perfect as Doctor Strange. I'm really impressed with him, and once again, like, he was so fantastic in this. I really enjoyed his character, and I thought he did a fantastic job with this film. Really awesome and very well done, and Benedict rocks. He definitely does. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Another awesome new addition to the awesome Avengers universe, and a collaborator who's done the voice and done a little motion capture previously in a couple other Marvel films, and is playing the awesome mighty Thanos in this film, and that is Mr. Josh Brolin. Now, Josh Brolin you might recognize from a slew of films over the last, few years. He was in No Country for Old Men. He was in the Old Boy remake. He was Jonah Hex. I mean, he's played quite a few different characters over the last, I would say, 20 years. But a couple of films I thought he was fantastic in are such as the 1985 awesome, like, kind of kids adventure flick, Goonies, which he plays the older brother of Sean Astin's character in the film. And I just really enjoyed him in that film. I thought he played a great older brother, being kind of obnoxious, and he's older, and he's, kind of like that, mean kind of brother a little bit. But at the same time, I thought he was fantastic in the film, and he was a great addition to that, giant teen cast. And he brought a lot of flavor to that film. He brought a lot of great chemistry, and I thought him and Sean's brother dynamics were really fantastic in the film too. And I thought it was probably one of Josh's best roles to date. I really enjoyed him as Bran, and I thought that was one of his best roles, most definitely. Another film that he was in that I thought was a decent role of his, and that he did a really good job, is none other than this awesome, excellent film based on an original TV series that came out in 1999 and stars the awesome Claire Danes and Giovanni Ribisi, and that is the film The Mod Squad. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mod Squad, it basically was kind of like a cop detective show back in the 70s. And they finally made a live action, or I should say a theatrical action flick about it, basically. And I thought they did a really decent job. And I really enjoyed Josh Brolin's bad guy character in the film. I thought he was really evil, but at the same time, he was really cool and conniving. And I thought it was just a really good role for him. And I thought he did a really good job of playing opposite of all the other characters in the film, along with Omar Epps and so forth. And I just thought he was really good at playing that villain. He was, like I said, very sinister. He played that character so naturally and to the T. And I felt it was very, kind of almost, lifelike, how he brought the character to life. Kind of like a little bit of his own personality was portrayed in that character. And I just thought he did a really good job, and, really portrayed a really good bad guy. And I think that's probably one of his best roles, is when he plays bad guys. He's really good at those roles. And he just was really fantastic in that film. Now, him as Thanos, he was amazing. I absolutely thought he did such a fantastic job with the motion capture and just bringing that, character to life, that voice and everything. And he just was so, humanized, and, he was so interesting. And just some of the expressions that they had Thanos do, and his expressions were just so pitch perfect playing that character. I don't imagine anybody else playing Thanos now, simply for the fact that he was so fantastic at playing the character. He really is great at playing bad guys, and once again, he plays a great bad guy in this, And I thought that the CGI work that they, to create Thanos was fantastic too as well. I mean, he was so flawless looking, he looked so real and so awesome, and just the computer animation along with the motion capture just really brought Thanos to life. If you're a 10-foot tall, alien species of some sort. And I thought, Brolin did an amazing job playing that character. He just was really awesome at it, and I really enjoyed him as it. I feel Thanos is now a very, very, complicated character that it's going to be interesting to see what else they do with him and what else Josh can do with him, because he did such an amazing job. Great performance by Josh Brolin, and I can't wait to see more. Another awesome guy that returns and plays another awesome Marvel character that has been doing this for many, many years. And that's Thor himself, none other than Mr. Chris Hemsworth. Now, Chris Hemsworth has been playing Thor since 2011's Thor first film. And he just was so awesome playing Thor, God of Odin, God of Asgard and stuff like that. He's been fantastic playing this character, and I love his evolution that he has, gone throughout the films and through the Avengers films and so forth. But a couple of films that I really enjoyed that Chris Hemsworth was in that was not Marvel related are such films as an awesome 2016 film and a prequel to an awesome film he did in 2013 called Huntsman Winter's War, which is a really awesome prequel film, because this movie actually is supposed to be a prequel and a sequel to the original first Huntsman film. And this one lacks Kristen Stewart, of course, but I didn't really see any need for her to come back, because I think this one is far superior to that first film. But this film was just fantastic. I thought Chris Hemsworth was awesome as the Huntsman again. I thought he was really good in his action sequences and his drama roles and his relationship with all the characters in the film. I just thought it was a great other kind of fantasy role that he portrayed, and I thought he did an amazing job with it. I really enjoyed that character, and I thought that he was really sincere and very believable in that character. And he was like really supreme in it too. And I just think he is the huntsman, and I don't think anybody else should play a huntsman because he just was so great at it. Really enjoyed him in the film. I thought he worked well with everyone else, including Charlize Theron that was in it, and Emily Blunt and Jessica Chastain, and they all worked so well together, and just it was a really awesome fantasy film and a great like kind of live action adaptation to the Snow White story. Really well done, and Chris was really awesome in it. Another great film that Chris Hemsworth was in that I think he's absolutely hilarious in and just so stinking funny and just a great remake of a film. And that is, or a reboot of the film, I should say. And that is the awesome 2016 film Ghostbusters, which has all-female cast. I absolutely loved Chris Hemsworth as Kevin in that film. He was absolutely hilarious. So many of his scenes were kind of improvised by him, and he was just so stinking funny. The thing where he like covers his eye when there's loud noise was absolutely hilarious. And just everything he did in the film was so super funny and just a perfect role. He really showed that he has a great comedic talent to him too, besides being, like a action star or a drama star. He just was really good at portraying that comedic element too, and he's a really great versatile actor. And Ghostbusters, I feel, really showed how good of an actor he is and how funny he can be. And he just was so awesome in that film. I absolutely love him in that film. I love watching that film just for him because it was so stinking hilarious. Great entertainment, that film, and his portrayal in that film, and just a really great film. Now, with Infinity War, once again bringing back the awesome Thor that we last saw in Thor Ragnarok was a great, amazing feat again by Chris. He really, traveled the times and really progressed his character of Thor again. I thought he was bringing him to a great place. I love the addition of a new, weapon that he creates in this film. And just the idea that he is still like such an amazing, awesome, this powerful god character. And you see the evolution of him, and he gives you kind of a breakdown of what he's been through over the last, 9 years, 7 years, and so forth. He was so awesome, and I just love where his character's going with this Thor, and I just think he was a great asset to this film. I can't imagine this Avenger film without Thor, and he just was so awesome in it. Some of his scenes were just really amazing. Lots of great action sequences, lots of great dialogue, and some really funny one-liners too throughout that he did. He just was so awesome, and he is Thor. No one else can be Thor, and he's Thor. Chris Hemsworth is ultimately Thor. No one else could play Thor as good as Chris does, and he's just so awesome in this. Absolutely enjoyed him. Thought he was a great addition and a great entertainment part of this film, and he just made it so better and just awesome. Really fantastic role portrayal, and can't wait to see more from him because he's awesome. Really awesome. He rocks as well. Chris Hemsworth rocks. Now, like I said, this movie has like a huge ensemble cast because it's pretty much all the, Marvel characters from the last, 10 years. And so a few honorable mentions I'd like to mention are, of course, none other than the beautiful and gorgeous Miss Elizabeth Olsen that plays Scarlet Witch. She's in it too as well, and she's awesome. You have Chadwick Boseman that reprises his character from Black Panther, which is another awesome character. You also have the awesome Paul Bettany playing Vision back in this one as well, who is an awesome and amazing character. You also have returning from previous films, that are just amazing characters. Chris Evans, which is an awesome, as Captain America, now Nomad, or whatever you want to call him. You got Sebastian Stan coming back, playing the Winter Soldier, aka the new White Wolf character. You have so many characters that just return in this that have been in other previous films who are just awesome. You have the awesome Scarlett Johansson that returns as Black Widow. You have just a great ensemble cast that's just so fun and really amazing to watch. They just make the movie so entertaining and awesome. Just so well done, so well conceived. Russo's did an amazing job with this film. Once again, they brought us to a whole new level with Marvel, showing us which way they want to take the Marvel Universe, and just it's a really fantastic film. If you haven't seen it yet, go definitely see it, people, in theaters. See it in 3D, see it at IMAX, see it in 2D. It's such an amazing film and a great addition to the awesome Marvel Universe and the MCU. This is just a really great film. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this one. I honestly feel that this is probably my favorite Avengers film. Probably my fourth or fifth favorite of all the 18 other Marvel films that have been around. It's a really great film. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance. Check it out. It's worth a watch. I don't want to give away too much about what happens in it, but there is a lot of tragedy that you'll probably see, and just be aware of it. Be, guided. Be not be too shocked, because this movie really does take us to the whole new level of Marvel. Really great film. Really good, and really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see it again. Really fantastic film. So if you're not familiar with what the plot of Infinity War is about, basically this film is culminating all the last 10 years of the MCU, basically into one film, and basically we are finally thrusted into the land of Thanos, and basically his trip on trying to get all the Infinity Stones so that he can take over the world, basically, and the universe, and recreate it and start a new prosperous universe. And basically the film's about the Avengers and all the superheroes that are involved trying to stop him. And that's pretty much what the premise of the whole film is about them uniting to try to stop Thanos from taking over the universe, which is a really awesome, idea, because especially since we've been culminating up until that point for the last 10 years, from the very first Iron Man up to Thor Ragnarok, this is all what it's been leading up to, and that's pretty much what the premise of this film is. So definitely, it's awesome, people. Check. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you've been here before and you haven't been here before, what are you waiting for? A grand invitation to hit that subscribe button so to miss one of these awesome films you see, or any of the awesome films I put up. And as always, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen yet. And also, check out that awesome link down below with the awesome horror pack. Now, if you're not familiar with what horror pack is about, basically it's a subscription service that comes right to your door every month of awesome horror films, either in DVD or Blu-ray format. And each box also contains a limited edition you can't get anywhere else. So you can't go to FYE, you can't go to Target, Walmart, Suncoast. You can't go to any of these places and get any of these because they are rare and only through the awesome horror pack. So that's something that interests you. Check that link out down below so you can get an awesome discount in your first month. And also, check out the awesome Stardust app, people. Especially if you love watching YouTube videos or any little videos of movie reviews, this is the app for you. You can either download it at the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store. And you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews of films, TV shows, documentaries, anything your heart is, looking for that day. It's a really awesome app. So if you end up looking that up and downloading it, go ahead and check me out at Cyberneticshark as well, and I'll follow you back. And as always, catch you in the next one.